Somewhere deep inside an ancient forest, there is said to be a flower that blooms for only a few hours each year. No one knows exactly where it appears. No one has ever successfully taken it home. And according to local legend, anyone who sees the flower glowing in the darkness is never truly the same again. But what terrified researchers the most wasn't the flower itself. It was the strange footage recovered from a missing photographer's camera. Because in the final seconds of the recording, something can be seen moving behind him in the fog. In the mountains of Eastern Asia, hidden beyond trails abandoned decades ago, lies a forest untouched by modern civilization. Locals avoid it after sunset. Even experienced hunters refuse to enter alone. For generations, stories have been passed down about strange lights appearing between the trees, whispers echoing through the fog, and a mysterious flower that blooms only once each year under the midnight sky. Scientists dismiss it as folklore. Tourists call it a myth. But in 2019, a wildlife photographer named Daniel Mori disappeared while searching for it. What happened to him remains unexplained to this day. The legend dates back hundreds of years. Villagers called it the moon blossom. According to ancient stories, the flower only blooms during one specific night each year, deep inside the forest where moonlight barely touches the ground. Witnesses described it as glowing faintly blue in the darkness, almost like it was alive. But the strangest part of the legend wasn't the flower itself. It was what happened afterward. Some people claimed they heard voices calling their names after seeing it. Others reported vivid dreams for months. A few never returned from the forest at all. Of course, modern science offers possible explanations. Certain rare plants can produce bioluminescent fungi around their roots. Hallucinations may be caused by toxic spores released into humid air. But none of those theories explain why electronic devices reportedly fail near the flower. Cameras malfunction. GPS signals disappear. Audio recordings become distorted. And strangely, these stories have remained consistent for generations. Daniel Mori was not someone who believed in ghost stories. At 34 years old, he had spent nearly a decade photographing dangerous and remote locations around the world. Abandoned cities, frozen mountains, active volcanoes. He built a reputation for documenting places most people were too afraid to explore. When he first heard about the moon blossom, he laughed at the stories. But something about the mystery fascinated him. In late October of 2019, Daniel traveled to the remote village nearest the forest. Locals immediately warned him not to enter after dark. One elderly man reportedly told him, "The forest does not belong to us at night." Daniel ignored the warning. He packed several cameras, audio equipment, camping supplies, and entered the forest alone shortly before sunset. At first, everything seemed normal. Daniel documented moss-covered trees, strange insects, and thick fog rolling between the branches. But around midnight, the recordings changed. In recovered audio files, Daniel can be heard breathing heavily. His voice becomes quieter, nervous. At one point, he whispers, "I swear I just heard footsteps behind me." But when he turns the camera around, nothing is there. Minutes later, another strange thing happens. The forest suddenly becomes silent. No insects, no wind, no movement, just silence. People who study forests say this is highly unusual. Wildlife almost never stops making noise completely, unless something nearby has frightened everything away. Then Daniel notices a faint blue glow deeper in the trees. The footage becomes unstable as Daniel moves closer. Static flickers across the screen. The microphone distorts. Then finally, hidden beneath twisted roots and thick mist, he finds it. A single glowing flower. Pale blue light pulses softly from its petals. The air around it almost seems frozen. Daniel repeatedly tries to focus the camera lens, but it keeps glitching. According to experts who later analyzed the footage, there was no obvious technical reason for the malfunction. But what happens next is even stranger. Daniel suddenly stops talking. For nearly 30 seconds, he simply stares at the flower in silence. Then he whispers something barely audible. There's someone standing behind it. The camera shakes violently. The image cuts in and out, and for a single frame, viewers noticed what appears to be a tall, shadow-like figure partially visible between the trees. The footage becomes unstable as Daniel moves closer. Static flickers across the screen. The microphone distorts. Then finally, hidden beneath twisted roots and thick mist, he finds it. A single, glowing flower. Pale blue light pulses softly from its petals. The air around it almost seems frozen. Daniel repeatedly tries to focus the camera lens, but it keeps glitching. According to experts who later analyzed the footage, there was no obvious technical reason for the malfunction. But what happens next is even stranger. Daniel suddenly stops talking. For nearly 30 seconds, he simply stares at the flower in silence. Then he whispers something barely audible. There's someone standing behind it. The camera shakes violently. The image cuts in and out. And for a single frame, viewers noticed what appears to be a tall, shadow-like figure partially visible between the trees. That was the final recording ever recovered from Daniel Mori. Rescue teams searched the forest for 9 days. They found his backpack near a riverbank. His camera was discovered several kilometers away, but Daniel himself was never found. Authorities concluded he likely became lost or suffered an accident in dangerous terrain. Yet several details remain unexplained. His footprints reportedly stopped abruptly in soft mud, with no signs of struggle nearby. Even stranger, the memory card inside his camera contained corrupted files investigators could not recover. Except for one image. A single photograph showing the glowing flower in complete darkness. And hidden between the trees behind it appears to be a human figure watching him. So what really happened in that forest? Some researchers believe the glowing flower may have been caused by rare bioluminescent organisms interacting with unusual environmental conditions. Others suggest toxic spores could explain hallucinations and paranoia. But skeptics struggle to explain the electronic malfunctions or the consistency of stories spanning centuries. Paranormal investigators have their own theories. Some believe the forest contains electromagnetic anomalies capable of affecting human perception. Others think the legend may be tied to ancient spiritual beliefs long forgotten by modern society. And then, there are those who believe the truth is far more disturbing. That the flower is not a natural phenomenon at all, but something waiting deep inside the forest for someone curious enough to find it. To this day, no verified expedition has ever relocated the exact place shown in Daniel's footage. Some claim the forest itself changes at night. Others say the flower only reveals itself to certain people. But perhaps the strangest mystery of all is what appeared in the final seconds of Daniel's recording. Because investigators later discovered something terrifying. The shadow figure in the background appears in multiple frames, slowly moving closer each time. And just before the video cuts to black, Daniel can be heard whispering one final sentence. It's standing right behind me. Then the recording ends. So what do you think really happened inside that forest? Was the moon blossom simply a rare natural phenomenon? Or did Daniel discover something humanity was never meant to see? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And if you enjoy mysterious stories about nature, forgotten legends, and unexplained phenomena, subscribe for more videos that will make you question what's truly hiding in the dark. Because sometimes, the scariest mysteries are the ones created by nature itself.